Hello, my name is Justin Lewis, and you're listening to More of the Same on Wham! Internet Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever it may be. Welcome to the premiere episode of More of the Same. Our mission is this: we wish to give an honest and fair review to the stories that matter to you and your community. As an internet radio program, we're able to present stories in a way that mainstream radio simply cannot. Our approach is to lovingly and painstakingly not only discover stories, but experience stories in an incredibly honest and truthful way, so that you, the listener, can get both sides. With that in mind, we move to our first story. In October of 2011, a movement began in New York City. The movement, now lovingly referred to as the Occupy movement, began as Occupy Wall Street, but quickly spread to cities and countries around the world, not the least of which was Halifax, Nova Scotia. The movement in Halifax, quickly dubbed the Occupy NS movement, had set up camp in the city's Grand Parade. They had been there since the beginning of the protests, and only recently agreed to move to make way for the city's Remembrance Day ceremonies. Its move, seemingly a compromise at the time, was to Victoria Park, just a few blocks away. On November 11th, the day for which the move took place, the mayor of Halifax, Mayor Peter Kelly, requested that all protesters be removed from Victoria Park as they were camping illegally. Naturally, the decision stirred up some emotions in the city, and it was met with numerous arrests and volatility. My brother Nick Lewis was there on the scene, and I reached him on November 11th by cell phone, somewhere outside of the park. Hello, Nicholas, are you there? Hello?
Yes.
Hello,
yeah,
Nick.
I'm here.
Oh, hello. How are things down there?
Well, it is raining. It is raining quite hard. It's actually really shitty outside, and I super don't appreciate that you made me come out and do this. But no, I am here, and I have spent the day with the protesters, and I am certainly ready to tell you what I found out.
That's fantastic, Nick. Why don't you tell us what's been going on there today?
Yeah, okay. Don't quite know what you mean by that, but yeah, what I can tell you is that it was nuts. There was tons of police coming in, and of course they just sort of started pushing people around in the mud. Now I did make the observation that most of these folks were already muddy, but they said that wasn't the point, and I somewhat agree with them.
Now, Nick, could you sort of paint us a picture? What was the scene like when the arrest began?
Yeah, well, I will say that the traffic here has been snagged for many hours now. A lot of Facebook pictures being taken. I'm not sure what the intent there is, but again, all part of the plan on the Occupy front, I suppose.
I suppose maybe they were trying to share the message with their friends, as it would be. Now, I did understand, however, that before the police took action, they were given a few hours to begin to pack up, and there wasn't a sufficient amount of action in that way, according to the authorities, and that's why they decided to move in and make arrests. Can you shed any more light on that, and to why maybe the protesters didn't decide to move until the police took action?
Yeah, no, I guess they had no idea that it was going to happen. Now, the police say that they did inform the protesters, but they were playing their drums so goddamn loud, I guess they didn't really hear it, so...
Right, yes. Well, and I suppose in that situation I would ask why the police didn't perhaps make a written note that they could have given to someone who was perhaps just watching the drum circle.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a good point. What I will say is I have been sort of trying to talk to the passerbys. Of course, CBC and Global, they sort of ate up most of the good ludicrous folks, but the more level-headed of the bunch, the ones that were already packing up their shit and ready to leave, they said that they thought it was really unfair, but they did understand the sort of camping point of view. However, what they said is they weren't camping so much as occupying, and so at this point, that is sort of the approach. That is sort of what they're going forward with, and saying that Well, they're claiming that that it was occupying rather than camping.
Right, and that was sort of the main focus, was that these folks were setting up a tent city in what would otherwise be a very public park, and they weren't quite sharing the space the way that I suppose the city would have liked them to. Now, having said that, outside of perhaps the mayor's office, what was the response in the surrounding area and of the public? I know that there are a few condos around the area. What do people who actually live there, how do they feel about the tent city?
Well, I was talking to a gentleman named Luther. Now, he is a homeless gentleman, and his feelings were that they had sort of moved into the park and not really asked around. He said that the park is usually where he sleeps, and he had actually taken offense to the way that they sort of moved in like some sort of invading Russian army. So, obviously, Luther, very happy to see the change, as I'm sure many of the locals in the neighborhood are.
Right. Now, I suppose before we move any further, I should ask you, there's been a lot of questioning as to whether or not there was a need for an Occupy Nova Scotia movement. Obviously, the movement stance was that they were sort of showing solidarity for the Wall Street movement, but I guess there was some questioning as to what the Occupy Nova Scotia movement, just sort of as an isolated group, what they stood for. Are you able to shed any more light on that now that you've talked to them?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I'm pretty plumb on that one as well. Again, it's been raining like a motherfucker today, so I didn't really ask a whole lot of questions. But nobody really could tell me. I mean, it ranges a scale, really, of some people that believe it's about the way the rich are getting richer. Some say it's the way that the middle class is treated. Some say it's the rising cost of tickets for going to the movies. So really, I got nothing to tell you on that one, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose just sort of general outrage at society then.
Yeah.
Now, I did understand, however, that there were quite a few supporters that came out, and I believe some of the supporters were local. Did you meet any of them in your travels?
Well, yeah, there were some old ladies that were out there passing out coffee and tea. However, they told me that their husbands had pretty high-paying jobs, so I feel like they may have just been kissing ass.
Okay, I had heard that there was actually some political action as well. Some political types had come out to support the movement as well, and sort of speak up against the arrest. What can you tell us about that?
There has been some political involvement. That's right. A lot of MLAs and different councillors showed up to support the Occupy groups. Most of those people, however, I don't believe will be getting reelected and are likely just pandering for votes. Yeah. Okay,
well, thank you for clearing that up for me. I believe that's all the time we have for now. I thank you again for doing this for me, Nick, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Well, yeah, it has in no way been a pleasure, but I this is what I agreed to do for you, so.
That's great, Nick. Thanks a lot. That was Nick Lewis reporting on the Occupy NS crackdown in downtown Halifax, Nova Scotia. If you have any questions about what you've heard on More of the Same, feel free to email us at wwam@gmail.com. Again, that's wham@gmail.com. We're always open to story ideas, and we'd love to hear your feedback as well. My name is Justin Lewis, and from all of us here at Mott's, we look forward to speaking with you again.